All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minutes with Mike, special sports edition. And in this special sports edition, we're going to do a recap on the Thanksgiving games this weekend. I actually had the privilege to watch all three games and definitely was a couple thrillers, I should say, and disappointment. We'll get right back to it in a second. This is 5 Minutes with Mike Sports with your host, Michael Beckford.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow.
All right, guys, I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving weekend with your family, digesting that leftover turkey and whatever else you got, some sweet potato pie, whatever it is, however way you serve the Thanksgiving tradition. And if you don't serve the Thanksgiving tradition, if you're a Native American, hey, I understand why. So with that being stated, let's start by the Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions. Now, I love Jordan Love. I gotta say this. I freaking love the quarterback play of Jordan Love. They have a winning record this season right now. They had a winning record last year, but I mean, I remember the doubters and the naysayers were just like, when he first, when that moment that Aaron Rodgers was transitioning from, Green Bay over to New York, and then he was there, and then people were saying, oh, Jordan Love is washed, and, but the man was rusty. I mean, he was a backup quarterback for a couple years before he got a chance to get his start. And now we're starting to see that investment has paid off dramatically. I mean, he is one of the highest paid quarterbacks, so you gotta step it up. But at the end of the day, he stepped it up. He got 4 touchdowns against a very strong Detroit Lions team. Like I said, this game was definitely a thriller. The game ended up being 31-24 in Green Bay's favor. But to go into Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, which Detroit has known to be played this game every Thanksgiving. So is the Packers generally. But to go in Detroit and win this game decisively against a very strong opponent, I commend what Jordan Love has done, but not just him. Freaking lights out defense with Micah Parsons and others. Basically just holding down the fort against a very, strong Detroit quarterback as well. And so, yeah, good game. This was a good starter game of the day. I loved it. Very competitive. I can't say much more about it. Now, the next game that I watched in whole was the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this was a nail biter. We knew that this was going to be a close game. Kansas City, I don't remember the last time they played on Thanksgiving Day. Of course, Dallas is just like the Lions. They play freaking every Thanksgiving year. It was quite a storyline. Patrick Mahomes, who's from the Dallas area, the Texas area, coming back home. And from what I've even heard, Patrick Mahomes also has a home in, I believe, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so, that storyline played a part in regards to his upbringing and things of that nature. And, coming back to Dallas and to essentially prove a point. Well, unfortunately, Dallas, they had another thing. And I must say, listen, Dak Prescott, I'm seeing Dak Prescott 2.0 this season. Like, this dude has been lights freaking out lately when it comes down to his football knowledge. I mean, he did throw an interception, but for the most part, he was doing his damn thing. And to have a double threat, like two wide receivers that are just awesome, and George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Listen, and some of the announcers on the game was alluding to this, that Pickens, he about to get paid. He about to get freaking paid. He got to get paid. And I think he's a good fit for the Dallas high-powered offense, man. I mean, this episode of 5 Minutes with Mike is brought to you by Padsplit. In a pinch and need a place to stay for cheap? Try Padsplit and get $25 credit once approved for a room near you. Locations and restrictions apply. Hit the link below and get approved for your next room. Now, do you have a vacant home that's been listed on the market forever? Make money from your home today using Padsplit. Earn passive income and make it a Padsplit home today. Link in the description below. He had a couple, on-field troubles when it came down to Pittsburgh. I mean, look, Pickens he's a Gen Z player. He's gonna speak his mind. He ain't gonna take no ish from nobody. So, hey, Pittsburgh shipped him off to Dallas, and hey, I think Dallas, at least from the perception of what I've seen, is a wonderful fit for him, especially for an offense that loves to throw. So yeah, man, the Dallas Cowboys decisively beat the Kansas City Chiefs 31-28. Listen, Patrick Mahomes did everything he can to try to come back in the game. There was a point that they were down by at least 10 points or so, and Pat put on his big boy pants. And listen, I mean, I see why he's definitely the GOAT. And now, mind you, I've seen quite a bit of his games. To be honest, he's actually one of my favorite players in the NFL, by the way, which is a contrast considering that my actual favorite player, we're going to talk about in a second, their game, also tend to not do well against Patrick Mahomes. So, but anyway, man, listen, right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are 6-6. They're just like the Ravens, which we're going to talk about the Ravens in a second. But I think that, to me right now, I think Kansas City has too many freaking weapons to be where they are. Now, of course, Rashid Rice was suspended for roughly about 4 games, so he's just kind of getting back into the lineup. But even before Rashid Rice, I mean, can you imagine if the Ravens had these amount of weapons at receiver? They have Hollywood Brown, who coincidentally used to pay for the Ravens. They have Rashid Rice, Travis Kelce. I mean, Travis Kelce is having a heck of a year. When everybody was trying to count him out, he's obviously still doing his dang thing, still accounting for a lot of pivotal plays, and he's still kind of a safety blanket for Patrick Mahomes. And then they have the speedster at receiver, back there. So, and then let's talk about their run game. I mean, whew. Pacheco has been hurt a little bit, and so he didn't really play much this particular game. But, the other running back that's a power running back when it comes down to it. So, I mean, to me, they have a great defense, right? They have a pretty good defense. So they have the spread of the litter when it come down. To offense. I think they're just not clicking on all cylinders to get the W the way they need to get it. By the way, last year, most of the games that the Chiefs won were only by a touchdown or less, 3 points. So they just got to get over that hump, because if not, they're not going to get to the playoffs. They're not, and it's kind of hard to say it. It's hard to imagine that. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're not going to get there. Guess what? I mean, they got to get the dubs. They got to win out now when it comes down to it. And it may take a couple miracles for them to really get seeded when it comes down to the AFC shuffle. All right, guys, down to the last game of the night on Thanksgiving, Thursday night, which was billed as another high-powered matchup, the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens. Honestly, I love the Baltimore Ravens so much. I love Baltimore. I love Lamar Jackson so much as a player. I liked him since I seen him in college, But I had to turn it off the last 5 minutes of the game. I was just distraught. I feel like when I watch the Ravens play, my heart rate goes up. Literally, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at my watch. My heart rate goes up because sometimes it's just the unpredictability. Now, there's some nuances to this that I want to speak on. The Ravens got out of the gutter when it came down to their record. Got out of the gutter and ended up winning about 5 games straight. And to me, Cincinnati was definitely, at least for a lot of people, Cincinnati was like a done deal in the sense of a game that they had to win. But Cincinnati's defense looked like they were freaking, the Cleveland Browns defense to a degree, which statistically Cincinnati defense has been one of the worst. And a lot of people, I've heard a lot of pundits, including Stephen A. Smith, that are saying, hey, Lamar's one of Lamar Jackson's worst games ever, or whatever BS. Listen, did Lamar Jackson play an astounding game? No, but I also saw some things that just weren't Lamar Jackson's fault. Now, outside of the 3 turnovers, the first turnover, that was crazy. I mean, they were at the 5 or 10 yard line. That was a crazy, turnover fumble. I mean, listen, the man is human. What happened in that defensive play would end up, basically ricocheting off, and then the guy going in, and then Baltimore's defense held up their ground. But yeah, I mean, Lamar got 3 turnovers. One was an interception. And it didn't look great. But honestly, I saw some of the best of Lamar on Thanksgiving Thursday night that I've seen him in a while, especially with him as a runner. Like, he still got it. Like, people are questioning that. He still got it, and still coming from and still coming off injury and everything else. So did the turnovers help? Of course not. They had a total of 5 turnovers. 2 of them, one of them came about Isaiah Likely, and I don't remember who else turned it over, but I mean, essentially Isaiah Likely, which was a touchdown throw by Lamar Jackson, doesn't get counted, right? But it was a touchdown throw. Isaiah Likely fumbles the dang on thing in the end zone, and it became a touchback, and then the Cincinnati Bengals get the ball. That's a difference maker in the game right there. Then another touchdown throw, essentially to Flowers, to Zay Flowers, very dynamic Zay Flowers. They called an offensive pass interference. And it's crazy because, did he do a little bit of a push off? Yeah, but that push off is nothing I've not seen in any other play before. And even I believe in the broadcast was like, yeah, that probably should not have been called. You know what I'm saying? As far as the offensive pass interference. So there's 2 touchdowns right there. No foul on Lamar's own, right? 2 touchdowns. Vamos. And listen, the defense held their own. Listen, the scoreboard don't tell the full truth about what the Baltimore Ravens defense did. But guys, if you get 5 freaking turnovers as an offense, and you're not helping the defense any. I play defense. The last thing I want to do is be out on the field every freaking 1 or 2 minutes. If the offense is not converting or turning it over, that means I got to rally back out there. Guess what? Them boys get tired. And so, listen, the Baltimore Ravens defense has been doing an incredible job. The offense has been suffering. I mean, no doubt about it. Ever since Lamar has left, obviously he's came back. He's helped them between Tyler Huntley that won the game with the Bears. We'll talk about the Bears in a second too. But listen, playing against Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow coming back was his storyline. I knew it was going to be something tough and rough. I don't care what the pundits say. I don't care what any of them, I think ESPN, whatever they would say. I knew it was going to be a tough and rough style, foot, nose, mouth in the game, and with also, the exceptionalism of they're getting their receiver back. I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be a tough game, and that's what it was. It's a divisional game. It honestly, when it comes down to a divisional game, because these guys know each other very well, it don't really matter what your record is. Listen, we mono, we're fighting for AFC supremacy, and who got it today? And unfortunately, Cincinnati got it. All right. Now, on to the last game that was played. This is not played Thursday night. This is a special game that's being played. It's all about money in the NFL for sure, and Amazon, of course. So they created this Black Friday Bowl, Black Friday game, which is basically the Thursday night games are typically played on Amazon now, Amazon Prime, but because of licensing and other deals that the NFL has with the major networks, those Thanksgiving games are played on the traditional networks. All right, so they came up with this Black Friday game. All right, cool, whatever. Anyway, the Philadelphia Eagles are in trouble, and the Chicago Bears, man, Oh, I underestimated Caleb Williams. I underestimated him by a mile. Listen, I still don't really like him like that. I think he's a prima donna. But as far as like just what he's showing as of late, this Bears team this year is not looking like the Bears team of the last couple years. And that's going to put an even bigger dagger in, Justin Fields' storyline. Because, Justin Fields was a product of the Chicago Bears roughly 2 years ago. And then he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought he did pretty great with the Steelers. And then right now he got benched in the New York Jets. But back to the Bears. Philadelphia, bro. I don't know what's going on. I think there's a lot of internal things that's going on with Philadelphia. That's like distractions that are preventing some things. Listen, the Philadelphia, quarterback, I think he's doing his job, right? He's playing his play. I'm only looking from the outside in, but I can see that there's a mundane things about them. He did turn over Jalen Hurts, which, the quarterback of Philadelphia. There was a costly turnover when they did their when they did one of their, lovely special tush push plays, and, literally the defender, good for the defender to do it, whoever decided to look at the way they do the tush push, but, rarely do they not get a first down off the tush push. But what happened was, while Jalen Hurts was still kind of in the air trying to move forward, the defender came right over to Jalen Hurts essentially and just, got the ball up out of his hand, and there was a turnover. But listen, the Chicago Bears are, they're out for blood right now. I mean, it is what it is. They're doing their thing. And so at the same time, the Philadelphia Eagles are slipping. And so I don't know what they're going to have to do to turn this thing around. They're dependent a lot on A.J. Brown for their big plays. I think they got to, and Saquon Barkley has been a shell of himself this year, by the way. I've seen a couple of their games. I think, honestly, I see Saquon Barkley. He obviously had a historically last year, but he looks pretty under freaking size as a prime running back to me. Is the dude fast? Yeah, he's fast in space. But as far as like, if he don't got nobody blocking for him, he's cooked. He ain't no Derrick Henry, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, even Derrick Henry, if he needs a blocker, right? But at the same time, Saquon he ain't no big body. And so something has to happen for Philadelphia to change this thing around, because they lost to the Bears on Friday. And they recently lost to the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they were beating the brakes off the Cowboys last Sunday. And, it was 21-3 or 21-zip, something like that. And then the Cowboys came back on them and won. So, yeah, something has to happen different. Anyway, guys, this is Michael Beckford with 5 Minutes of Mike Sports. Please like and subscribe if you love this content. This episode of 5 Minutes with Mike is brought to you by Michael D. Beckford's newest book, HOMEBOYS. Everybody has a homeboy, or friends call his own. The best friend you kick it with at the family barbecue. The one you trust to bring around your lady without raising a red flag. A homeboy will play video games, smoke, and chill. A homeboy is a nigga you can ride or die, and the one you sleep with on the low. HOMEBOYS, available in ebook and paperback or wherever books are sold.